So I'm about to drive the very first all-electric Mercedes C-Class here in Finland, which is apparently the happiest place on earth. So shall we see if this car has all the ingredients to make me happy? Let's do that. Forget Blur versus Oasis. If you worked in a corporate job in the 90s, the real rivalry was between the Mercedes C-Class and the BMW 3 Series. Which would you have as your company car? Those two models were the poster cars of the 90s car mags. And history has repeated itself because the battle is back on in a different way, because we don't buy magazines for our car reviews anymore. We watch YouTube. And we don't fill up our executive saloons with petrol, because both of those cars have gone electric. And Mercedes knows that this is a car it has got to get right. The C-Class has always been one of its biggest selling models. Making it electric is a massive move, particularly when its main rival, the forthcoming BMW i3, has apparently had to open the order books early because demand has been so high. So should we kick things off with another battle, a good old-fashioned spec sheet battle, and see which one of these two would have been top of the pops? In the Mercedes corner, we have the all-new electric C-Class built on a dedicated platform. It packs a 94 kilowatt-hour battery and promises up to 452 miles, that's 727 kilometres of range, can charge it up to 330 kilowatts and adds just over 200 miles, 325 kilometres of range in 10 minutes. And in the BMW corner, the all-new i3, also built from the ground up as an EV. It gets a larger 108.7 kilowatt-hour battery, stretches that range to 567 miles, 912 kilometres, and raises the charging speed to 400 kilowatts, meaning it can add almost 250 miles, 402 kilometres, in around 10 minutes, assuming you can find a charger fast enough. At launch, the range-topping C-Class C400 4MATIC produces 489 horsepower and dispatches 0 to 62 in just 4 seconds, faster than the BMW's equivalent i3 50 xDrive, which has 469 horsepower and completes the same sprint in around 4.7 seconds. So on paper, at least, Mercedes gets it on performance, but BMW takes the win on range and charging. That is exactly why this battle isn't going to be decided on the spec sheet alone. It will be down to how they drive, which is what I'm here to find out. Well, about one of them at least, but also how they look. And let's start with the looks first, shall we? And if you think this looks quite old school, you would not be wrong. Mercedes is leaving avant-garde to all the new brands and of course to BMW with its Neue Klasse design. It's very purposely meant to look reassuringly like a Mercedes C-Class. Just because it's electric, they don't want it to look different. In fact, let me read you this quote from the press pack, which is, I think, quite brilliant. In a world driven by constant change, it provides a welcome sense of consistency. Do you see consistency when you look at this? I think we do mostly, and then we come down here, don't we? To the massive grille, which of course we've seen on all the other electric models. It's really growing on me. I do really like it. And I love that it's a throwback to Mercedes cars of old. It just ties that heritage in nicely. Although of course the cars of old didn't have 1005 little illuminated pixels in there. Looks amazing at night. It does a little show for you. Of course it's going to divide opinion. I know it does because it divides opinion on Mercedes' other cars. I actually really like it on this, and I quite like the way the whole thing looks. And while I'm here, I also like the fact that this looks great, but it's also functional because it houses the camera and everything you need for the ADAS systems. And there are also stars, of course, in the lights there. It's very starry. There's more stars inside too. I'll show you that in a minute. This is my favourite bit though. Press the Mercedes badge and here is a massive frunk. That is utterly brilliant. No faffing around inside with levers and switches and pulleys. You just press that and you get a 101 litre frunk, which, if you recall from my walk around video when I first saw this car in studio, does indeed fit a Ginny in it. Don't you dare close it while I'm still in here. So yes, Mercedes hasn't gone cool or funky with this design. Personally, I think it works, but beauty is always in the eye of the beholder. So come on, internet, as the beholders of this design, what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Inside, There is no missing the headline act, is there? It is the absolutely massive 39.1 inch hyperscreen. It's brilliant, isn't it? We've seen it in all the recent Mercedes EVs, and it's actually really growing on me. I've got to say, the graphics on it, the quality of it is absolutely insane. That's what 10 million pixels does for you folks. It's also, the more you start to use it, actually surprisingly intuitive and easy to find your way around and to navigate. So I've obviously spent quite a lot of time in Mercedes cars that have had this, and every time it just gets a bit easier. I'm also going to give a shout out to the AI generated voice control, which works really well. So let me show you. Hello Mercedes.
How may I help you?
Tell me about the Electrifying YouTube channel.
The Electrifying YouTube channel focuses on video reviews, guides, and tips for electric and plug-in hybrid cars, helping viewers make informed decisions about electric vehicles.
Do you like it?
While I don't have personal preferences, I can appreciate the value of informative content like that found on the Electrifying YouTube channel. It's great to see more people getting interested in electric vehicles. The main presenters of the Electrifying YouTube channel are Ginny Buckley, Nikki Shields, and Nicola Hume, who provide expert reviews and advice on electric vehicles.
So it understands me, and I've generally had issues with voice control systems understanding me for some reason. I don't know, I think my accent's quite normal, but perhaps they don't. But also it gives you a really deep level of information, and you can have conversations with it, which I think is very impressive. What also impresses me is just the feeling in here. It feels high quality, it feels very premium, and I do love the symmetry. I love BMW interiors, but the parallelogram just plays havoc with my OCD. It's all skew-whiff, isn't it? Whereas this is just lovely and symmetrical. You've got the symmetrical air vents and the dual wireless chargers and the dual cup holders, and it's just all very nice and very symmetrical. I think it's really good to see Mercedes interiors back. I found them a little bit chintzy. I am so glad they've done away with the pillow on the back of the headrest. Didn't like that at all. And it just feels a sort of more modern, classier place to be in here. And please, if you can afford it, please opt for the fabulous pano glass roof, which goes from opaque to clear and has 162 stars in it. It's pure Mercedes theatre, and it's just something I love about this car. If you want a deeper dive into the interior, then we do have a first look video of this here on the channel where you can find out more, which you'll be able to see up there. Before I leave the interior, did you know that every executive saloon has to have 6 things, I think by law? The first thing is, it's got to have massive door bins for keeping all your stuff in. And this has got massive door bins. And it's got something that I think is brilliant. In the door is an extra slidey compartment that keeps a whole bottle of water in it. I love that. You, of course, have to have dual wireless charging ports that are also ventilated, because all executives carry 2 phones. Massaging seats are also definitely on the list. And these ones are really good. They get right into those little knots in your back. You need decent sized cup holders. That is number 4. Fits my massive mug in it. That will do for that big cup of executive coffee. And of course, every executive carries their jacket with them. They need a hook to hang it on. This has got really nice ones in the back. And the final one, the boot has to fit a couple of sets of golf clubs. Well, if it's me in it, so it should be fine. The only UK model initially will be the C-Class 400 4MATIC, which is this car. As a reminder, that means 4-wheel drive at 489 horsepower and dispatches 0 to 62 in around 4 seconds. Now, I've always thought that the main reason people buy a C-Class rather than a 3 Series was because of comfort. You see, BMW has traditionally been the driver's car, hasn't it? Mercedes has been the one you choose if you want to arrive feeling chilled and relaxed. And I'm pleased to report that that hasn't changed because it's gone electric. If anything, I think it's leaned even further into what it's always done best, and the electric power is really helping that. It's so quiet in here, spookily so actually. It feels remarkably well insulated from road noise. And there is just calmness to the ride and to the way it covers the ground that makes it feel expensive, if you know what I mean. It really seems to float down the road, and that's thanks to the air suspension, which is fitted on this model. And incidentally, if you do want the air suspension, you've either got to choose one of the top 2 trims or shell out £2,500 as an option. So is that worth it? As a team, we're divided on this. A couple feel that Mercedes recent EVs have lent into comfort a little bit too much and that the ride can feel a bit too floaty with the air suspension. However, on the C-Class, because of its lower centre of gravity, I reckon the suspension is a brilliant addition. The ride is absolutely superb. It's really composed, hardly any roll when you're cornering. So it goes without saying that it is powerful. It pulls away smoothly. It's got a really nice delivery of power right throughout the range. But what I like is that it doesn't have that gut punch of power that you get in some EVs. The power feels nicely controlled. I think the rear wheel steering is worth a mention because it's one of those bits of tech that you've got to convince yourself that it's actually working. But I think you can actually feel it helping the car turn in. It really disguises that this is a much bigger car than the C-Class that we've known for years, and it definitely makes it easy when you're parking around town. Now, of course, you've got different driving modes in here. It rides really nicely in comfort, predictably, though I prefer sport. It just tightens everything up, and I particularly like the steering. It gives it a bit more weight. And you can tell the difference between them. I think sometimes it can be hard to differentiate, but you definitely can. And of course, there's a personal mode, so you can set the car up exactly how you like it. One thing I like is that it's got a very good AI voice system on this. As I said, it's quite conversational, but you can also change the driving modes through it as well, which is really handy when you're on the move. So let's give it a go. Hey Mercedes.
How may I help you?
Change the driving mode to sport.
Okay, I'll activate the Sport Drive program.
It's good, isn't it? And there you go. Much more my style. Everything has just tightened up, got a bit more weight and feel to the steering. It's a little thing, but I like it. So let's talk about regen braking. There's an intelligent recuperation system, works very well, works seamlessly, and you've got different levels there. Maximum level does give you pretty much a one pedal driving, brings you to a really nice stop when you want it to. Couple of niggles though. The inbuilt sat-nav is slightly irritating, and it's a shame because the actual visuals and the graphics are really good. It just doesn't seem to be where you want it to be. I found the head-up display a much better option, and of course you can use Android Auto or CarPlay. The other thing that drives me mad is that you can't toggle through your music tracks from the steering wheel. You've got to do it here on the screen, which is really annoying, Mercedes. There are physical controls for things like the volume, but you can't toggle through. What were you thinking? Drives me mad. I think other than that, though, there is quite a good blend of physical controls and controls in the screen. And as I said, the AI voice activation system is good. It's nice in the back. I like it. I like these kind of bolstered bits on the front of the seats to make the seats really comfy, and I like the quilting. Really love the quilting, and I really love this kind of mushroomy colour as well. So yes, you've got decent headroom, good leg room. Only 2 Isofix child seat points though. I do like it when there's the option of a third one in the front, but maybe executives never carry 3 children in their car, I don't know. Of course, you've got the central armrest. Where are the cup holders? They pop out of here. Nicola loves this. It drives me mad because I'm way too clumsy for this, and I can never get it to work properly, and I know that I would break this, and if I didn't break it, then my son sitting in the back would break it. And you have a little thing there for resting your phone in, and there are some charging ports down there. So yeah, it's a nice place to be, but definitely breaking that. In terms of boot space, you get 470 litres, very competitive for the class. Obviously, it's a saloon, so the opening is narrow, but the boot space is very deep, and as I've shown, there's more than enough room for a couple of sets of golf clubs. Towing capacity is up to 1.8 tonnes, which is impressive for this type of electric exec saloon, helps make it a good all-rounder. So it's worth mentioning that the C-Class 400 4MATIC, which is this car, will be the only model on offer in the UK initially. So the less powerful single motor rear-wheel drive versions will arrive later, and they will be the one that will manage more than 500 miles, around 800 kilometres. So if you're a high mileage driver, they could be well worth waiting for. Now, it uses an 800 volt electrical system, which means, as I mentioned earlier, it can charge it up to 330 kilowatts on a suitable ultra-rapid charger. So Mercedes said it can add up to 200 miles, around 322 kilometres of range in just 10 minutes. On the more common 400 volt rapid chargers, that means it charges as up to 100 kilowatts. So I expect roughly 25 to 30 minutes to add around 100 miles or 161 kilometres of range. AC charging is 11 kilowatts as standard, with the option to upgrade to 22 kilowatts for £1,000. You know, 22 kilowatts is so useful, but I wish more car makers would add it as standard. It also supports bidirectional charging, vehicle to load for powering whatever takes your fancy, vehicle to home and vehicle to grid capability where the infrastructure allows it, which in the UK at least isn't the case yet. When it comes to efficiency, we've been averaging around 4.4 miles per kilowatt hour along a mix of road surfaces, slightly off the claimed figure of 5 miles per kilowatt hour, but we've been driving the car under launch conditions, which isn't always ideal. We'll take a closer look at efficiency when we have it for longer in the UK. Prices will start from £57,995 right up to just under £71,000. So the entry-level Sport is still pretty well equipped, plenty of touchscreen goodness, you get a pano roof, you get leatherette upholstery, which actually does feel very nice. But most will go for the AMG line with its sportier styling, the memory seats, the passenger screen up front. You do have to step up again to the AMG line Premium or one of the more luxurious trims to get that full hyperscreen infotainment system. By the time you've really crunched the numbers, it makes it quite a bit more expensive than the BMW i3 and almost £10,000 more than the Tesla Model 3 long range. So you have to really want an electric C-Class and everything that it offers if you are comparing it to its rivals. Although after having spent some time in it, I can actually see why you would. It's funny, the world has gone from magazines to YouTube, from engines to batteries, from analogue dials to super screens. Yet the Mercedes C-Class has stayed, reassuringly old school and familiar. It's quiet, it's refined, it's comfy, it's nice to drive, and you just know it's going to be absolutely brilliant on a long journey. The one thing I'm not convinced about yet is the price, and it's going to be really interesting to get this up against the new BMW i3 when we do know the UK pricing. So come on, what do you reckon? Are you team BMW or team Mercedes? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're there, were you Oasis or Blur? You know there's only one right answer to that question, right? And it's obviously Oasis.